You ever get that feeling in your gut when someone asks you a question that just doesn't sit right? Like you're fishing for something, but not in a good way? You can't always put your finger on it, but something about the way they look at you or the words they choose makes the hair on your arm stand up. That's not just paranoia, that's your instincts, and after 60, those instincts are sharper than you think. The truth is, not everyone who smiles at you has good intentions. In fact, some of the most dangerous people don't carry weapons. They carry sweet words and hidden motives. If someone asks you any of these 5 questions we're about to talk about, I want you to pause, breathe, and walk away. Because these aren't casual questions. They're traps. And the people asking them, they're not just curious. They're likely manipulators, scammers, or worse. Liars who know how to exploit kindness, especially the kind that older people often show without hesitation. That I end this video. I'll show you the 5 most dangerous questions older adults are asked that should set off your inner alarm. And I'll explain exactly why you should never trust the person asking them. By the end of this video, you'll know how to spot manipulation before it starts and how to protect your dignity, peace, and safety. If you find this valuable, please take a moment to like and subscribe. Your support really does help us bring more real talk and helpful advice to people who need it. Now here's what you'll walk away with. The ability to recognize hidden intentions behind seemingly innocent words and the clarity to know who deserves your trust and who absolutely doesn't. Because after 60, your time and peace are priceless, and no one has the right to take that from you. Let's get right into it. Imagine you're sitting on your porch, or maybe you're just finishing up lunch with someone you thought you knew well, and they lean in with a kind smile and ask, "So, how much money do you have saved for retirement?" Just like that. Casual, calm, and totally inappropriate. This is the first red flag question, and anyone who asks you this isn't being friendly. They're being calculating. That question is a door. And once you open it, even a crack, it invites them to start sizing you up, figuring out what they can take, what angle to use, or how they can insert themselves into your financial life. It's never just curiosity. If someone really cared about your well-being, they'd never put you in a position where you feel like you have to explain or defend your financial life. The truth is, your money is your business. And anyone trying to get a peek into that world, unless it's your trusted financial advisor or your spouse, is likely setting you up for manipulation. Seniors often fall into this trap because we were raised to be polite, to answer questions when asked. But being polite has a boundary, and your safety lies on the other side of that boundary. Here's another one that might seem innocent, but it carries a heavy undertone. Do you ever get lonely living alone? Now you might think they're just making conversation, but listen closely. If someone you don't know well, or someone you suspect might not have your best interest at heart, ask this, they could be testing the waters. They want to see if you're emotionally vulnerable, if you're craving company, if you'll be easy to isolate and influence. It's subtle, but predators, emotional, financial, or otherwise, thrive on subtle. They love it when you reveal your need for connection because it gives them a way in. They'll start visiting more, calling more, showering you with attention until you start relying on them. And then, when you're comfortable, when your guard is down, that's when the true manipulation starts. They may begin asking for favors, money, access. And because they made you feel needed, you feel guilty saying no. Loneliness is nothing to be ashamed of, but don't mistake manipulation for companionship. The third question is so loaded it almost always comes wrapped in charm. Do you trust me? It might be said playfully. It might even be part of a joke. But don't dismiss it, because anyone who needs to ask you if you trust them probably already knows they're walking a fine line. This question is not about them seeking your confidence. It's about them pressuring you into compliance. If you say yes, they feel entitled to your time, your help, maybe even your secrets. If you say no, they act hurt, make you feel like you've done something wrong. Either way, it's manipulation. Genuine trust is built, not requested like a favor. If someone's actions match their words over time, you'll know you can trust them. But if someone tries to shortcut that process with a question like this, walk away. Trust is earned, not negotiated. Let's move on to the fourth question, and it often comes when you least expect it. Sometimes even during a family gathering, sometimes from someone who hasn't spoken to you in months. Who's going to take care of all your things when you're gone? Now, at first glance, this might seem like someone being practical or trying to start a conversation about estate planning. But pay attention to their tone. Are they genuinely concerned about your wishes, or are they sizing up your belongings like they're already halfway through your will? You'd be surprised how early inheritance greed shows up in people. So don't even wait until you're sick. They just sense your age, your quietness, your vulnerability, and they move in. This question isn't about logistics, it's about entitlement. People who love you will ask how you want to be remembered, not how your furniture will be divided. And if you feel that uncomfortable churn in your stomach when someone asks this, trust it. You're not being oversensitive. You're being wise. The last question is perhaps the most dangerous of them all because it sounds so helpful, so generous, so sweet. Is there anything I can help you with financially? Now you might be thinking, isn't that a kind gesture? Not always. Not when it comes with strings. This question, when asked by the wrong person, is the first step in a long game of control. They might offer to help pay your bills, consolidate your debts, even handle your banking so you don't have to worry. And in the beginning, it feels like a gift. But slowly, subtly, they take over. They learn your habits, your accounts, your limitations. And before you know it, your independence is gone. You're asking for permission to access your own money. You're being told what you can afford. And sometimes, by the time you realize what's happening, it's too late. Your name's on less paperwork than you remember. Your choices are fewer, and your voice feels small. That kind of help isn't help, it's control in disguise. Now, I know all of this might sound a little heavy, maybe even scary. But the truth is, knowledge is the best defense you've got. When you know what to look for, you take your power back. You remember that just because you're older doesn't mean you're a target. It means you're experienced. It means you've lived long enough to know the difference between kindness and cunning, between honesty and performance, between someone who stands beside you and someone who waits for you to fall. And here's the thing, they can't manipulate what you don't give them access to. So keep your answers guarded. Keep your trust earned, not given. And remember, it's okay to say, I'd rather not answer that. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your peace. Your later years are not a countdown. They're a reward. You deserve honesty, respect, and real connection. And anyone who tries to get close by asking questions that dig too deep, too fast, or too conveniently, those are not your people. Those are distractions. And you're too wise to be distracted. So if someone asks how much money you have, or if you get lonely, or if you trust them, or what'll happen to your stuff, or if you need help with money, pause. Think. And if your gut says something's off, believe it. That's not paranoia. That's your wisdom talking. And it's been earned.